Hi Ishi. So tell me, is your name Ishi or is there an Ishita or an Ishika, etc.?
Yeah, that's a confusion. No, I am just Ishi, ISHI,
Okay,
that's all. But people do, like somebody who's senior to me, call me Ishira, Ishita
okay.
sometimes. They
And
just don't get the word.
Ishi isn't
But
your
yeah,
nickname either.
no, that's my name. That's what parents named me.
Okay, okay, perfect. So Ishi, back in 2021, I was putting out a lot of information on the public health policy back then, with which I did not agree at that time, and I still don't agree, today. Uh, I also noticed, that you were also one of the outliers. Uh, and to be honest, I was pretty glad to notice that because at that time you were also putting a lot of information and your opinions on the public health policy and on various other things as well, right? So fast forwarded to 2023, I started my podcast recently, about a month back. And before you, I've had three interesting episodes with three different people on three interesting topics. So
Okay.
recently, I thought, that I'll invite you for a similar discussion, but on a different topic. So that's how you're here. Really looking forward, to have some great discussions on the social culture and whatever is going on in today's age. So thank you for taking out time and coming over. And really looking forward.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure. So why don't we start, with something about yourself and what is it that you do?
So I do get this question a lot because people are confused. They're not able to label my work properly. I am working in fashion. It's been 6 years now. I started working in fashion even before I joined Instagram, and then I took my work over Instagram, and I received a lot of love from people. I then directed my journey towards doing creative direction, creative placements, planning, product placements,
Okay.
etc. Style direction, all sorts of things related to production. That also I do, but I don't really put that side of my work
Hmm.
online, so people are not aware of that. Then I also write, because that is something that I've been doing since childhood. I like to express through writing as well, apart from fashion. I own a brand as well called Tula, which is for office wear collection for women, which is yet to launched. We are still working on it, and then I am the director and designer there. What else do I do? And I speak as well. I speak. I uh, chat with people. I like to.
You have a
There's no
podcast
liking
too,
actually.
I
I
guess,
think
I bumped it on Spotify
I can't
recently.
help but share what I know with people. I can't. Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yes. I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel as well, which I'm struggling to keep up with because I just have like two, three videos there. And I just launched it because in 2022, I was like, one platform cannot be the only platform that I can limit myself to. If people want to look at the other side of my work, I need to, like, it's not up to people, it's not fair to them that I just confuse them here. So, one part of my work should be here, which is Instagram, and then other part of my work should be somewhere else. I thought YouTube is a good
Yeah.
alternative. But right now I'm in a catharsis with that. I'm trying to go back and forth, trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do with the speaking part?
Mm.
So I, I won't say that I'm a speaker or I'm helping people or I'm doing that. I just feel that whatever I know about life, whatever I have come across, I feel that as an individual, I owe it to me and I owe it to people that I must share what I know. But because there is nothing else to do, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna take everything with me and die. There's no point.
No, I kind of agree with you there. I think there's this inert urge in people, to contribute to their families, to the people around, to their community. And that's there because, it gives us a sense of fulfillment, purpose, and also creates an opportunity to create a difference out there, which in turn makes us feel good. So I guess, speaking is your way, sharing whatever you have to share, your knowledge or whatever with your community, that's your way. And I think this is closely tied to the sense of purpose. because all the purpose is something which is elusive in nature.
Wow.
Uh,
That must have been
but
a journey.
purpose, is something which fulfills you from within, right?
Yeah.
So I've been a corporate lad for about 12 years, and I've seen both sides of the corporate, the good side as well as the bad side. And in the midst, for about 3 years, I had an opportunity to venture on my own. So we had a marketing agency. So I, along with my business partner, we did good. And on top of that, the bonus was that, we also got to learn from our mistakes. And but what I've noticed is that the difference between a good corporate setting and a bad corporate setting is usually a good corporate setting helps people to align their purpose with the overarching mission and purpose of the corporate, and the bad corporate setting is completely opposite. But why I'm discussing about the word purpose is because I recently discovered that you are associated with this organization called the Free Man. So how's that?
Yeah. Well, it is started by one of my very dear friends, Sarat, and he's a men's coach. He's very famous in North India, actually. Um, and he started his journey on YouTube in 2016, and he himself was a corporate lad from Ireland,
Okay.
and then he left all that, came back to India, wanted to start his own thing, uh,
Mhm.
and as in like he wanted to teach people what he knows about masculinity, about men, because he was like, there's nobody helping them, there's nobody trying to tell their story, there's nobody uh, trying to guide them, because everybody is like working towards making men feel more lost, but nobody's working towards their like guiding them, because like men are like so desperately, we feel they're like lacking, there's some lacking in uh, their sense of what am I supposed to do in this world right now, because earlier it was like we come from patriarchal systems, so, and I don't use this word in negative connotation like how people do, it's just a word. So
Yeah, yeah,
we
I
come
know
from
that.
patriarchal society, and which still is, and there men built a purpose for themselves. So now, because women are participating and there's a lot of confusion, so they just are in a catharsis of like, okay, what am I supposed to do with my life? So he was like, I would like to help them. Whatever I have known from my journey, I would share it with people. As a man, whatever I have known on the path which I have walked on, I want to share it with people, and I want it to be a path of freedom, because that is my greatest value in life. That is his greatest value in life, and that's how he started. And then he actually started on YouTube with his personal brand Sarat Kalra, and then in 2019 he started the Free Man, because in India, and not only in India, everywhere actually in the world, human beings have this thing of idealizing somebody. That's what we have done with the gods also. We have just given them a temple, which they do deserve, but like, we are the one who had built the temples for them. So he never wanted that. He was like, I don't want this is like bigger than me, this movement, and I don't want to give it a face. It needs to be faceless. So then he, in 2019, he birthed the Free Man, which was for masculinity, because we wanted somebody, some place for everybody to come under and talk about freedom. Not necessarily just men. Even we even have women supporting us. We have women coming to our meetups. We have online support from women. So our I was there in marketing and this thing, content and marketing. That was I was head of
Okay.
content there. So I worked there, and then recently, because of my own life and things, I had to move back to my hometown because I had my own things going on. So yeah, so but I'm still in, like, we are family.
So, one thing which I typically find about ideologies
Hmm.
and movements, be it any ideology, usually, I take them with a pinch of salt, because what I have observed is that, somewhere down the line, most of these ideologies are motivated by economic and
Yeah.
political agendas. Black Lives Matter is a classic example, they were busted last year as they were funneling funds. for a few people, a few beneficiaries of the movement. And I think third wave feminism is no different, because feminism has done an excellent job, of driving a wedge between people who believe in the ideology on one side and people who don't. And I think that's proof enough, that it is also a politically driven movement, third wave feminism. Also, feminism does this excellent job of keeping the follower perpetually in a state of victimhood mentality, and to keep to show the problem always outside of you. So, what propelled you not to take the third wave feminism as a young woman and to rather be, working towards or choosing towards the
See, the
movement of
thing
men?
is, I don't believe in extremes of any sort. So, this movement, feminism, and I also do not believe in not changing things, not evolving things. Every movement needs to be looked at again and
Yeah,
evolved. Every movement needs to be, otherwise, it is just dead and stagnant. It doesn't work for the people of the modern era. I am not, whenever I speak about feminism, people think that I am, I have some internal misogyny, or I like, whatever, like
yeah,
all those word vomits they do. I don't even, I'm sure they don't even
yeah,
understand the word
yeah,
misogyny properly, what it is, if you ask them. But anyways, that's topic for another day. Whenever I speak about feminism, my speech, because it is very towards the subject, like, I'm speaking to you, so we both are having a conversation, right? But like somebody who is listening to it would only listen to it from their perspective,
mhm,
like from, okay, what they know about the world. And most people are not open to ideas, they are open to, I want, I'll pick up what she's saying, whatever is matching with my own perspective towards
mhm.
the world, and I would agree, you know so with feminism, I've never believed in extremes. I believe, I strongly, I don't even have to believe, actually, this is the truth, that feminism has given women a platform where they use that platform, and then they made sure that they also participate in the economy.
Yeah,
That is for sure. Feminism has excelled at that. Today we are able to work because of that movement. Otherwise, we were at a time in history where whenever women thought about working, it was just for the household and not really in the economy. So it was very limiting
yeah,
for a human being, um, and their life experiences. Like, they were not able to live fully. You know, they had no chance. They had no opportunity. So the opportunity to be able to work for yourself or for anybody you want, feminism has given that
yeah,
fair chance to everybody. So for that, I do give the movement the credit. Rest, now where it is going, hijacked by people who don't have good intentions for people, actually they just want to make profit. So this people do not understand. People are still in something which is dead and stagnant. They're still clinging on to it, and it is giving them a lot of trouble,
yeah,
because what feminism also told women is that most women think that, actually, that if you are a woman you have to be a feminist. And this have to be, I don't understand. And not only with feminism, I don't even understand, like, if you are a man, then you have to be, the you can't cry or anything like that. I mean, the have to be's with anything I do not support, whether it's related to genders, whether it's related to um, anything in life, anything which you have to do. That means there is somebody who is forcing you to do it you know
yeah. And it's kind of ironic and surprising as well, that feminists value freedom of speech a lot, but they are quick to label you a misogynist when you practice your free speech.
They're very quick. They don't even give to, like, they don't even use. And you know what, this is all put into their mouth. They don't even use their own brain.
Yeah,
They don't even use their own sense of reasoning, their own sense of conviction.
yeah,
That is my work. My work is to make people understand that there is a sense of conviction that you yourself have. There is a sense of, जो मुझे ठीक लगेगा मैं वो करूँगा या करूँगी, that is there. You don't have to rely on a movement
mhm.
for it. Like, we are living in 2023.
See, what happens is, people confuse themselves with ideologies and movements. because they've got to identify with something or the other, right? And I think people have lost a sense of their own self-identification, and that's how they are looking out for external ideologies to identify with.
That's what, there are. So I've met in India. I've worked in Bangalore, as I shared with you, for a while, because my work is to do with Bangalore as well. So there I find Bangalore is the most like, it's a pseudo feminist city. You will find a lot of feminists in Bangalore, is what I have seen, because I'm very well traveled around India. So Bangalore is a city where I can't even have a conversation with somebody. They will automatically label me XYZ things. And then I was sitting with this girl, and then I was speaking to her about, we were having conversation on religion, and then she was like, do you believe in religion? And I'm like, I don't believe in anything. And then she's like, but I saw you putting something about Ram Navami, this, that, etc. I'm like, yeah, but that does not mean that I am, just because I'm talking about a god does not mean that I'm religious. Like,
Yeah,
how do you assume that? Then she's like, no, because I'm an atheist, and I think atheists are superior, or something like that. She was just speaking, and I spoke to her, and I was like, and then the conversation ended up becoming about feminism. So we
yeah,
both,
always does.
I was like, do you believe in feminism? And she's like, of course I do. And I'm like, why do you believe in feminism? And she's like, because it makes me feel empowered, and it makes other women feel empowered, and it is giving us this, that, etc. I'm like, can you just walk me through in your life where, apart from feminism giving you an opportunity to participate in the economy, has it given you a sense of empowerment? Like, first hand, can you
Good
give me
question.
an example? And she was not able to answer it. And then I told her that you can't call yourself an atheist if you believe something blindly. You believe feminism
Mhm.
blindly.
Yeah,
Most people who call themselves atheist and then believe in movements like feminism and Black Lives Matters and this life matter and that I'm just naming movements. They would take, it's the same thing. It is the Church of England. It is the same thing. It is your pundits and pujaris telling you that you have to read the scriptures 5 times a day and then something will happen, because they wanna control you. They wanna enslave you. How is it different than a temple? How is feminism, the movement, different than a temple who is trying to control you? Different than a mosque who is trying to control you? Different than a church who is trying to control you? How is it different? Instead of going to a monastery, you're going to McDonald's. How is it different? They still control you. So my point is, my whole thing is to reveal this in front of people, and then they should decide for
mm.
themselves that what do they want to do.
So tell me, how do they react, when you ask such pointed questions? Because these pointed questions, have the ability to break open a particular belief system. And it often happens, it also gives them an opportunity to sort of see through that whatever they might be believing in an ideology, it might not hold any water, because I'm sure when you try to ask questions and get down to the bottom of the rabbit hole, then eventually, there comes a point that they might not have an answer at the end of the day. And they are so attached to the ideology,
Yeah,
that they are willing to defend it from their heart and soul. And these ideologies have been shoved down their throats so ferociously.
yeah.
Uh,
That is what I tell. See, I always tell people, they're like, because I am speaking, like, I'm just pointing out logical things which is wrong with the left side, they automatically assume that I'm on the right side. Then I also have conversations with people on the right, and I point out logical things which are absolutely shitty with them. They are like, women should be working in kitchen because men can provide for them. I'm like, can be. Why there is why there needs to be a, a a set role of something to do for anybody, whether regardless of the gender? Let people decide for themselves. Why can't we do that? Why do we have to go around and like spread a propaganda on either of the side that this is what I believe in, this is what I believe in? Then what happens is that once there is a belief in your life that I believe in this, that I believe in women working at home and men working outside, or I believe in women working outside and being like completely masculinized. So either of the two, if you believe in that, then you try to operate your life according to that.
Yeah.
what you believe in. What you are, you're never able to become that. You're never able to become what you would want to do, what you are. The flower, if you are supposed to be a red color flower, you become a blue color flower, and then you're confused about life, and then you are depressed about life, and then you are like, there is a distance between what I'm doing versus who I am. There
Hmm.
is no,
Yeah.
there's unhappiness. There's like, and that unhappiness you cause upon yourself
Hmm.
because you believed in something. So on either side, I'm like, dude, both of the sides are like, just, they want they want to pit you against each other, because that is the best way. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is the
the
best way to
famous
that is the
divide and
best way
conquer
to
tactic.
control people. If
Yeah.
you keep them divide and rule. Yeah, and we Indians have first hand experience of it. It is very recent in our history, and
Hmm.
still we are doing that. I don't understand, like, we're
Hmm.
still doing that, and we have not learned our lessons. I don't think so we have learned our lessons.
Yeah, people who don't remember history are condemned to repeat it, and history repeats itself. But unfortunately, we don't remember much. So I'll share an example with you. Back in 2021, I was having this discussion with someone around Ayurveda and traditional medicine, and I'm someone who believes in traditional medicine. But mind you, that does not mean that I don't believe in modern medicine. However, while this conversation was happening, the topic of Swami Ramdev came up, and I don't believe or agree in all his ideologies, but anyways, I believe in Ayurveda. But while the discussion, the other person automatically assumed that I am someone who does not believe in modern medicine and I'm anti-science, and I could be a right-winged conservative person. And it is so interesting and irritating at the same time, that people reduce your thought process down to a one word label or a word, and then they try to think that's who you are.
This is the problem of my life, Advait. I am not able to. Yeah, this is my life problem. Nobody is able to, even my in my work, they want to label it, and because the other person wants to label my work, I feel the need to label my
Hmm.
work myself as well. And I was in a position in my life once where I was thinking that, okay, whatever am I doing, if it is not making sense to people, if it is not making sense to the majority, then I should stop doing it, I
Hmm.
shouldn't do it. But then I figured that the meaning is not into the word, like I
Hmm.
am an engineer, I am a content creator, I am this and that. The meaning is into the
Yeah.
value that you are providing. The meaning is into the person who is looking at your work. That is the meaning. The
Yeah.
appreciation is the meaning, or the approval or the disapproval, or whatever, however people judge. These are just adjectives we use. So the emotion is the meaning, and to understand this, it took me a
Yeah.
long time. And then the same thing happens when it comes to somebody has their own line of reasoning and their own way of looking at life and their own way of living it. It does not have to be left, right, center,
Hmm.
or conservative. It
Hmm.
does not have to be that.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be that? So those kind of people are struggling. The same thing is happening on social media. There are creators who just want to create. They don't want to be an influencer, they don't want to be a content creator, they don't want to be a brand owner, they don't want to be that. Instagram was once a place where it was a place for such people who had no place in the real world to go, and they can just make their own space online. Now it is not like that. So those people who are struggling to express, now they're moving away from Instagram, and that is the downfall of Instagram. Now we are starting to see it like go down. There everyday people are leaving Instagram. Their stats are like horrible. In the last time
Hmm.
Facebook released a report, I think in 2022 only, their stats were horrible. um, so why is it happening? Because it is just not about a social media company, it is also about people. People don't give other people space to just be. They want, absolutely, because you know what, like something which is not familiar to you, you can't understand, you think automatically that's a threat to you.
Yeah,
There is a
that's
threat.
how you project your
Yeah.
thought process and your assumptions onto the other person, especially if you're meeting them for the first time, because you need to navigate an unfamiliar person or an unfamiliar territory.
If I figured out who he or she is, then okay, then I'm safe. Then I can act on it, you know. But what people need to understand is that we have to be with, I don't understand certain things. If I'm not understanding somebody's work, it's fine. I don't have to understand. What is this have to? What is this compulsion?
I think part of this compulsion, comes from the fact what we discussed a few seconds back related to certainty. We as people, it's logged into our DNA and it's a part of our biology that we want to feel safe, like you said, and we want to feel
Sorry.
certain. Bless you. And we want to feel certain so that we are able to navigate an unfamiliar territory or a person. I guess that's how we have had our evolution right from the time we were hunter gatherers. So yeah, but at times it gets a
So
little,
you're always playing life on
yeah,
defense. You're not living. You're always are looking out for threat. This is the survival mechanism.
yeah,
And you know what? We have created a world actually where you see nothing but survival. All marketing campaigns are like survival mechanisms. If you don't buy this cream, your pimple will not go. What the fuck? What is like? Are you getting me? Like,
yeah,
and I'm not saying now people
fear
will question
mongering.
that. Okay, so now you tell us what are the good ways of marketing. I'm not saying I know everything, but I'm at least I know what I don't like.
Hmm.
I'm not saying I know what I like, you know. But if I am able to weed out what I don't like, if I'm able to weed out what does not work for us in this economy, in the world we've created, maybe eventually we'll reach to something which actually works for us and has been working for us since we were here on earth. So that is lost. It's like we are natural beings, we are part of nature, but our lifestyles, our way of living, our ideology, his we have created, our religions, our politicians, our everything, food, even food now, it's just so artificial, it's so out of reality, it's so touch. And how do you expect somebody to live sanely in this kind of environment? Of course people are going to be get depressed, of course there are going to be schizophrenia, there's going to be bipolarism, of course. How do you make sense of this then? Because from the inside you are not. Human beings were evolved when we came out of the animal chain and we evolved and became the best animal, or like the animal on the top of the food chain, right? That was our evolution. That was a great leap in evolution. But I believe what they're trying to say is that the next evolution of human beings is when AI and human beings will merge.
Yeah, so interestingly, last to last week on my podcast only, I was having this exact discussion where I invited a professor of social sciences, and we were discussing exactly the same thing on evolution, that we are heading towards the evolution of transhumanism.
But do you think that is the evolution or do you think that is devolution? I think
No, you're right, that's
that
de-evolution,
is
but from
devolution.
the
I
point
don't
of
think so
view
that
of the
is
evolutionary
evolution.
timeline, that's evolution. So that's what, I mean to say. And it changes what it means to be human. And people like Elon Musk and Dr. Yuval Noah Harari have been saying that the AI is developing at such a rapid pace that they also need to develop the human consciousness at the same pace to match it up.
And he's right.
He
He
is
is
right,
right.
they're right. But
So
the
that you are able to
question,
make a sane
yeah, but the
choice.
deeper question is, that what do they mean when they say that they
But they
develop
can't develop it.
consciousness? Unless they do it inorganically. So when they say that they need
It is
to,
the same thing that it is the same thing as saying you need to develop God.
yeah, so
How
they
do
will
you
develop
develop
it
God?
inorganically, the consciousness. So what they mean is that it's by merging man and machine, to get up to that level. And the example is Elon Musk's Neuralink project, the chip that goes inside
I
you.
still do not see how people are able to, and these are people we're talking about who technically won in the economy, who are at the top of the economy. They are the 1%. And they actually are supposed to have a greater picture at the world and a bigger idea at the world and a vision at the world, because they are now very above survival, right? So but they actually, I think it is like blind leading the blind. It is not, they don't know what they're doing. I feel, how can something which is made out of the human mind, the AI is the extension of the human mind, right? It is nothing but the human mind in a physical outside manifestation.
Well, the
It's something
intelligence
outside of the
part
human mind.
is, but the conscious part is not.
Intelligence, But the conscious part is still with
That's what,
us
yeah.
because the conscious, because we, that's how we are linked to nature. If I, like, if I'm walking on the road and I see a dog struggling, right, what I'll have to do is that I'll have to go, I have two choices at that time. What I can do, one choice is that help that dog. That would be very natural to me. That would be natural to all of us. Why should we not help the dog, right? And the other thing would be me forcing myself to not help the dog and looking the other way and keep walking. I have two choices. Now, these two choices are not subject to judgment, but these two are the choices that I have, right? Now, one choice is very natural and another choice is very unnatural to me, right? As I keep doing unnatural things in my life, I will end up becoming depressed because I'm going against my own nature
Yeah.
as a human being. And if I keep doing things which are natural to me, which is me, which is respecting me and my humanity, then there is nothing to me but happiness, because happiness is my nature. I
So,
am.
you know, connecting this example of the dog and the compassion to the AI conversation which we are having. Uh, see, AI
Yeah.
itself learns from machine learning programs and the neural interfaces program, which is also called NLP in other words. Now,
Hmm.
artificial intelligence need not have emotions or consciousness intrinsically in order to display those
Yeah.
emotions or in order to show emotions, because AI is trained on the entire spectrum of human emotions,
Yeah.
and that is what that is where the squeaky part is. Because if it is trained on the entire spectrum of human emotions, then it can display emotions, it can show emotions. If we connect this conversation with the overarching capitalistic structure, which is run by these people, like we just mentioned, Elon Musk, etc., then these people will always bet their money on attributes like intelligence, productiveness, productivity and efficiency, rather than the consciousness, which is the human side of it, right? And as AI is developing and increasing its intelligence, that is the scenario with where we could head there. So now, since we are talking about the corporate and the capitalistic structure, what is your view on the capitalistic structure these days? Because in 2020, we noticed the time of great resignation, and that was the time when nobody was expecting, these companies were not expecting these people to quit because everyone was in the midst of a lockdown, global economies were down. And I was also one of them, who left my job and joined somewhere else, where I found it more meaningful. And there were so many like me. Uh, what do you feel happened, and why is it happening? Why did it happen? How do we reconcile with the fact, because people are losing a sense of purpose, right? And I'm talking about the people, only those people, who were working jobs where they did not find their purpose. They are also struggling to maintain their physical health and mental health, etc. Right? What do you have to say to that?
See, corporate culture is highly competitive culture, and you have to be on your toes all the time in corporate culture. And if you, as a human being, if you're living in that environment where you're nothing, your highest value is your competitiveness, but not your humanness, then of course you're going to struggle. Of course you're going to be like, why am I not valued here for who I am, right? And it also starts from the corporate factory, I call it. It starts from your school days. You're trained to become a corporate since you're in nursery. So your training happens like that. You're literally told in school that okay, you finish the 10th and then you go to 12th and then the life is okay, and then
Yeah.
you finish college, life is okay, and then you get a job, life the same, the rat race, the wheel on the
Mhm.
this thing. And life of a corporate guy or a girl is nothing different than a rat on the wheel,
Yeah.
because it is just, it's true. There is no offense to
Mhm.
somebody, but if you don't look at reality, then you can't change it. you know there are people who are very happy with their corporate jobs. But those are people who are living life from inside out. They're not living life outside in. You know, if they feel, if they are supposed to do this work, then they would do it. And not even supposed to. If they feel that this work is very natural to them, it is effortless to them, they do it. For most people, corporate jobs are not effortless to them. They have to put so much effort into it. And what am I speaking right now, it won't even make sense to people, because people will be like, of course for a job you have to put effort.
Mhm.
What are you talking about? I am not talking about putting effort in the sense that you have to work for it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are some things you're born with, which we call as, like, talent, like inborn talent. We have given the name, right? That is very natural to you. Like, for example, for me, dance is very natural. I can dance, like I've been dancing since childhood.
Mhm.
I don't even need to choreograph it. I just, music plays and I just like start dancing. It is so natural to me, you know and it is like a performance. So there are things which are natural to you, but you're so out of touch with yourself that you don't even know what is natural to you. And you're operating your life according to how your parents have told you, according to how the friends are telling you, according to what you're looking at the internet, what is booming right now. This sector is booming, that sector is booming, etc. Will always be. Some sectors will boom sometimes, some sectors will not boom sometimes, some things will come up, down. This is how literally, like, stock market operates. This is how everything, some things,
Yeah,
some countries will go up
it's a
for 200
cycle.
300 years, then they'll come down, then some other country will take their place. It's just the same thing, right? It's a cycle, and it never stops. So, how, your time on
Mhm.
earth is limited. How are you gonna engage in this cycle? If you're gonna engage
Yeah,
in this cycle, the whole infrastructure of this cycle that we have created is not created for human beings. It is created by human beings, but it is not created for human beings. It is created for making profit,
it's
for
created
money,
for
for
consumers.
these things, which are also great. I'm not
Yeah,
saying like making profit and money is not great, but I really think that it's time for us to, like, like, straddle the economy a little bit, like, just make, like, there are supposed to be new ways. We have to create an economy which is an economy for humans. We have two choices here. Either we go the AI way, the way of, like, more catharsis in future, or we go the way of, okay, now we have realized what is not working for us. So then let's leave it in the past, and then let's create some new systems for people.
Mm. That's very well said. And we haven't realized it, I think because what we need, because uh, let me make a very subtle difference, between effort, the unnatural effort and the natural effort. We have spoken about a lot of things since the beginning, we spoke about, we began it with purpose. We moved to divisive ideologies, then artificial intelligence, then we connected that to the capitalistic overarching structure. And right now, I think we are circling back to purpose and effort, right? So I think this connects our conversation beautifully so far. And the subtle difference, between natural effort and unnatural effort, which you're pointing out, is is that when we are talking about natural effort, it comes to you when you're doing something out of love, which you like, and when you're driven by purpose, which is a part of your bigger calling, etc. And now that does not mean, that life will be all unicorns and rainbows, because still, life will continue to have its own ups and downs. But nevertheless, uh, there will be a sense of fulfillment and a sense of contribution, right, to the community around, depending upon how large your project is, right? And yeah, but I think, that on the other hand, the unnatural effort which we are talking about happens because so many people uh, are working at places where they have not been able to align their purpose with the overarching corporate structure or the capitalist mission, or the structure inside of which they are operating, right? And
Yeah.
I would not only put that blame, let's call it blame, for a lack of a better word, on the overarching capitalist structure, but I would also like to call upon the people for that, for tolerating that, And I mean, if someone is expending a lot of efforts for a place, where he or she does not find his purpose, then eventually uh, there will be fatigue, eventually there'll be a lot of tiredness, right? Because if a structure is only and only motivated by money and
Yeah.
profits, right, then eventually, they would stop feeling motivated. They would stop feeling valued because they are not getting a feeling that they have contributed something. They are only a cog in the machine, right? And but on the other hand, if you found a way to, let's say, monetize your purpose, right,
Yeah.
then I think there's nothing better than that. And that you can find in many companies. There are great companies to work at, like really, who go an extra mile in not only generating profits, but also in helping aligning, their employees align their purpose with the overarching mission and purpose. And we all know that names, those names. And another great example could be an entrepreneurial project, which you take up because it's a part of your calling, it's a part of your purpose, and you found a way, to monetize it. Now, effort in both the scenarios, right,
Yeah.
is there, because let's admit, life without effort is not possible, right? And effort has to be there, right? So effort is there in both these places, but you don't get fatigued, you might get tired. You don't feel exhausted, that's what I mean to say. So I think that's a subtle difference, between natural and unnatural effort. And
Yeah.
if we connect that, to our earlier discussion of the Great Resignation, which happened in 2020 and 2021, when people were realized, when people realized that there is so much to life than just slogging their asses off in a 9 to 5 job, 9 to 5 is just a muhavra because it's never 9 to 5, but that's okay. That doesn't matter much. But people have realized that there's so much more to life. There's family, there's friends, travel, work-life balance, experiences, relationships, blah blah blah. And I think that is again a
Yeah.
very important reason. Why so many people working very hard to figure out their purpose, right? And I think that is another reason of why the Great Resignation happened, so rapidly back then. You would also see a lot of startups coming these days, and I'm not talking about the large startups. I'm talking about startups which are started by individuals, online or offline. One-person startup, two-person startups, etc., and they're doing good, and they are able to see a bigger picture because they are able to recognize that there is much more to life than just money. I mean, if there's money on one side and a sense of money and fulfillment on the other side, then I think most of the people, would go and choose for the second option. And okay, I'll say this. One thing very funny, which I've noticed in the last couple of years, is that uh, every company, these days has an award of the best place to work at, right? And that is uh, really funny, because why that's funny? Because these companies, buy their way into buying these awards. But on the other hand, India is a country, which is even behind Pakistan in the global happiness index, right? And I'm talking about, I think, 2018 figures. Uh, I don't remember the exact score, but I guess the we were in the neighborhood and vicinity of 140, 150. Uh, but the fact remains that even though I don't remember the exact score, the fact remains that we did very bad in the global happiness index, right? So I think that contradiction in itself is a very huge contradiction, because although every company these days, has these awards by spending PR money, buying these awards, right? But this contradiction is right in your face, and that tells a very important story, right? That what is actually happening And I guess that's another reason, why people have been getting off the ship left, right, and center.
Like ultimate enslavement, you know. Like, why am I, like, I'm literally in chains. I have to get in because I have to, even if I don't want to, but like I'll lose my job. So I don't know what screams more than this as enslavement, you know. Like, still people didn't see, like they
Yeah,
still didn't see, they got and they were working for their corporate, you know, jobs. I understand there is an aspect of money, there is an aspect of responsibility, paying bills, etc. All that is there. I'm not saying it's not there. But at the same time, does it mean that if you like to play guitar, you can't come home and play guitar for yourself, and then you can't explore that, you know, what are the ways in which I can be play guitar and then pursue this as something which I can make money out of? What is the problem, you know?
thankfully, I was one of the many people who did not take part in the
Yeah,
global experiment, even though the corporate threat was looming,
corporates.
office, wherever you
Yeah,
used to go. But I did not take part in the experiment.
yeah. It was very stupid. I don't know why people didn't see that. It
It
was
was.
very, very stupid. People should have like
People should have pushed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pushed
People should
back a
have
little
pushed
bit on
back.
that. They were
A
like,
lot
this
of us
doesn't
did.
make sense.
A lot of us
This
did.
doesn't make selling a ATM. I don't know how does it make sense. I
Doesn't make
don't know.
sense. Doesn't make
I don't.
sense.
I absolutely don't know.
That's another fear-mongering marketing tactic. And I don't know how do you outsource. People shout my body, my choice all the time.
Hmm. Especially women. Yeah. Yeah.
And on the other hand, they are willing to give up your bodily autonomy to a third party. And how can you not see this glaring contradiction?
And then you're shaming somebody who's not taking the and then
Yeah,
calling them an
reducing them to a
anti-vaxxer. How
one-word
can I be an
label,
anti-vaxxer
anti-vaxxer,
if I
whatever.
have polio
Right.
in my body?
That's what we
How
discussed in
can
the
I be?
beginning.
This would be me
Yeah.
being a hypocrite. But I'm
Yeah.
not an anti-vaxxer. I do have in my body. I never said I'm an anti-vaxxer. You're
Hmm.
saying that I'm an anti-vaxxer. So is it you who is projecting what you want me to be on myself, or is it me?
I think people should have pushed back. A lot of us did. And I'm sure you and I know a lot of people, who did not go for it and who are very healthy, right? And I somehow, did not want to set a precedence where somebody else gets to mandate what I need to put in my body or not. I didn't want to set that precedence at all. And come to think of it, today you allow this, tomorrow, you'll allow to have a chip inside you, right? Where does it stop? Right? Where does it stop? So I think this needs some reflection, that you don't get to encroach on somebody's most, I mean, you don't get to encroach on somebody's bodily autonomy, right? And you've set a precedence now, to these external authorities to further get inside you because you did not push back when you should have, right? And you got hijacked by the fear mongering narrative at that time and ideology at that time.
This has been happening since past, I think, not even people say that it's happening past 10 years. It has been happening since like 50 years now. That, and it's dripping slowly, 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 that they are making the human the product. It should be the other way around. And with the rise of social media companies, it's all the very much obvious, because what is their currency? Attention. Right now, people used to say that, you know, information is the new currency in the age. That's gone now. Attention is the new currency. And mark my words, people will say that this in the next 5 years, 10 years. Attention is the new currency. Because what are they selling? Your attention. What is the TikTok? What is the TikTok feed doing? Selling your attention, right? Your attention is the currency. And I'm happy that we actually came back via the scientific route, because the technologies are also extensions of science. Via scientific route, we actually came to this realization that actually attention is our true currency, which the sages and the saints and the Buddhas were saying since a long time, that attention is something that you need to work on. Attention will take you towards where your home, where you want to go. Because as a human being, you never feel any place is worth making home. That is the uneasiness, the gabrahat that you always have.
So what do you have to say to the falling attention spans these days? Because you mentioned TikTok. I usually mention Instagram because I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah, even I am not on TikTok.
Okay.
I was like, yeah,
So I take this example of
yeah,
Instagram reels, those 30
yeah, yeah,
second reels, and you keep on swiping up, right? And it gives
yeah,
you a sort of a
yeah,
dopamine rush, a dopamine kick. And
for sure.
that's for a few seconds. And what do you have to say to that, right? Because I am someone who does not agree with putting
Yeah,
out my message in a matter of 30 seconds, and I can't do that, let's be honest.
90 seconds, yeah, even I do. I
Because,
can't do
there's a
it.
need for a slightly nuanced and a deeper conversation
Yeah.
until and unless, I'm giving out tips. So what do you have to say to that? Because it's happening. Attention spans are falling.
See, see, this question somebody asked me that how do I increase my attention span now? And I was so happy to see this question. Now people are thinking about increasing their attention span because there are people who have realized that actually their attention span has gone down. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, you decide. Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Could be a bad thing.
I don't even give it a connotation of a good or bad. I just feel that if lowering your attention span is not making you lead a life of, okay, I am somebody who can understand something,
Hmm.
who can give it attention, because without giving something attention you can't really connect with it.
Sure.
The connection is gone with the attention. मतलब जितना तुम्हारा अटेंशन छोटा होता जाएगा उतना तुम्हारी कनेक्शन एबिलिटीज कम होती जाएगी. दैट इज व्हाई यू सी पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू कनेक्ट टू अदर पीपल इन रियल लाइफ
Hmm.
because they are not able to pay attention.
Yeah.
That is the first thing you need to do. And what they're doing is that, especially the Gen Z, they are going to produce an ADHD. um, the next pandemic is ADHD, like the whole
I would say it's already here, partially. I was talking to my bua the other day.
yeah,
She happens to be a teacher in a primary school in Hyderabad. And I hear
yeah,
so many instances of, these days kids are being diagnosed, with ADHD. Because the moment they turn 3, 4, or
yeah.
5, their parents give them a
Yeah,
laptop
they
or
are
a
giving kids
tablet
the laptops,
or a
the
phone,
everything. When they
right? What
don't,
else do you
at that
expect?
age, they are still developing. They don't have their
Yeah,
own sense of reasoning that
yeah.
should I be using this tablet or should I not be using this tablet. Parents are taking their conviction and their reasoning, they're putting it on kids. So they are not some revolutionary parents if they are giving their kids tablets. They are the same. They're doing the same
Hmm.
thing which their parents have done with them. They're putting their line of reasoning there so that things can be convenient for them. This conveniency is driving us towards all this stupidity. How much?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be? Why do you want things to be convenient so that I can focus on other things in life? Those other
What other
things.
things?
What are the other things in life? I want to chase my dreams.
Yeah.
What are your dreams? I don't know. Then why are you using conveniency? The whole point of using conveniency was so that you can focus on other things. What are the other
Hmm.
things? Other things can be so that I can take care of my kids. Okay, great. Take care of your kids then. I'll just give them a laptop. Just
Tablet.
give them a tablet. It doesn't make sense. So now it is not about like it has gotten you addicted, and people should accept it. People are not accepting it. They're still are like, no, 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 we are too good for getting addicted to a dopamine feed. Everybody's addicted to a dopamine feed. What are you talking about?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. See, the way big tech designs its products, their product designers are smart,
Yeah,
and they
they
design
know.
the UI and UX in a way to maximize harnessing of the attention of the people, so that is where the consumers see. And it has come to a point,
Yeah.
when we have stopped looking at each other and we started looking at our phones. You go out on a
See,
social
they are
setting, that's what you
thinking they are
see
turning to they are turning to technology and social media for every single
for everything.
solution. You're
Yeah.
depressed, open your feed. You're a depressed
Mm.
man, you'll see all the soft porn shit on Instagram, you know. You are a woman who feels less about herself and her self-esteem, just open, take a couple of selfies, you'll get instant validation. This so th- you are a lonely teenager in high school, start an Instagram, become an influencer, start an Instagram page, and you will, you know, suddenly have a lot of liking, and, you know, people will follow you, want to know what is going on in your life, etc. This has become a solution, a one-stop solution for all your problems. That is what they want to do. That is what is their marketing. That is what they want to do. They want anything in life which you're depressed about, anything in life which you want to change, anything in life which you're unhappy about, will give you happiness. Join Instagram. Will give you happiness. Join TikTok. You know, you're lonely? Join TikTok. Otherwise, they don't want you to have relationships. Imagine if you are having good relationships in life, if you are happy in your life, genuinely you have people you want in your life, you are able to give them, they are able to give you, there's love, harmony, everything, you know, like the heaven on earth we talk about. Why would you even open your Instagram? Why would you even go on Tinder and find somebody else if you're married, happily married? They don't want you to be happily married. Otherwise, Tinder's stock will go down. Simple. They want to they've broken the family unit, they want to break the individual, and they want to sell things to that fragmented individual so that they can sell to the different fragments of that individual. That if you need love, Tinder is there for you. That's how they even market, you know, as if like love is for sale. Like they have also वो भी उसको shelf पे डाल दिया, उसकी भी shelf life है. Once it's expired, you go and buy something else.
Okay, so tell me, what could be your age?
24.
24. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So there's roughly a 10 years gap, between us.
I'm somewhere between millennial and Gen Z,
Yeah, yeah,
between
yeah.
the between generation.
So tell me, give me some insights on how people are reacting in your age group, and how they are taking to relationships in the face of whatever we have discussed so far, uh, since we started the podcast.
See, in my age group, people are people are not. They don't even know what they want in a man. They don't even know what they want in a woman. They want somebody on YouTube to tell them what they should look for in a woman. Can you imagine? That's how lost they are. They want somebody like me to tell them this is our 15 feminine traits in women that you should look for. They want Andrew Tate online to tell men to go out and earn. Why do you need these people in the first place?
Yeah, there's so much of divisiveness,
Because
over these
you
ideologies.
just go out, interact with a female without any
Mm.
judgments, without any, you know, pre-assumptions and manipulation. Because men have this, how men manipulate versus how women manipulate are two very different things. Women manipulate for safety, men manipulate for like, I want her, I want to get it, and that's it, you know. Both are wrong. I mean, both are very low vibrational way of living. But this is the difference between like how they, you know, manipulate. So without any manipulation, just talk to a girl. You'll understand some things. You'll understand more than what the girl on the internet giving 15
Yeah.
tips will tell you, you know.
So I don't know what got you into this, and what made you this way. I mean, so matured at this age. Uh, Tell me something, like you could have been a part of the Matrix very easily.
Life.
Life. Yeah. Uh, so we have so much of distraction, propaganda, and divisive ideologies. What was your defining moment?
My I had no defining moment, Advait. My actually how I have been brought up. My father has a big role in it. Even my mom has. But mothers are mothers, you know, they nourish you, they nurture you, they love you, and their love sometimes become even poisonous for you as a individual to grow. My father has always been like he is my guru, he is somebody I my everything. My father is my
Mm.
everything because he made me who I am as an individual. He started that journey for me since I was a kid, like 1 year
Wow.
old, 2 year old, because he always was like, वो करो जो तुम्हें ठीक लगता है. वो मत करो जो मम्मा बोल रही हैं, मैं भी बोल रहा हूँ, दादा बोल रहे हैं, फैमिली बोल रही है, पर दुनिया बोल, डू वॉट यू फील विच इज़ राइट. And I have lived my life like that. What I feel which is right or wrong, I operate my life like that. My sense of reasoning has always been given higher value by my parents also. Then, you know, लोग क्या बोलेंगे, ये क्या होगा, वो क्या होगा, etc, etc, etc. I had to fight my own
Of
battles with my
course.
parents
Yeah.
also, like how all of us do. But that was a basis of my upbringing. My upbringing was in a way which is, they never, they always entertained my questions. They never shut me down. I was a very curious child. I had 100 different questions. Some havan is going on in my family. I'm asking them, why are we doing this? I can do this, but I would never put an ahuti into havan unless I know I am doing this. I have valued my actions so much since childhood because my parents have valued it.
Yeah.
That is why, how you
And
bring up a
contrasting
child is
this to,
very important.
the today's age, where the divisive ideologies tell us and tell these, tell the generation that fathers are not required. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
father
very
requires
sad.
both, sorry,
Very
the
sad.
kid requires, both the masculine and the feminine way of upbringing to grow properly. That's the complete way
Kid.
to grow properly.
Yeah. Mothers actually, if you think about it, mothers birth the child. I agree. Mother is the one who is supposed to give the support to the child. Agreed. Father cannot give that kind of support which mothers give. That's a very special support. It's a very सूक्ष्म support. It's a very hidden support, which is a very मतलब उसको आप quantify नहीं कर सकते हो. Father के support को आप quantify कर सकते हो. But for an individual to become an individual in the world, to get that individuality out of him, that him or she, that him or her out of him, out of them, you need father. Because not because he's a father, you need, because males and their brains are just designed in a way where they are able to, they are visual, men are visual,
Yeah, they
right?
both have their roles,
Their
whether
visual
someone accepts
apparatus
or
is
not.
more sharpened by
Yeah.
nature than females are more sensory. Our sensory apparatus is more sharpened. हमें हमारे intuitions बहुत strong होते हैं. So it's different. So it's used for
Of
different
course.
reasons. For males, you'll look at your child and you'll see this child's natural talent, and then as a father you'll provide for that. Like, if my child wants to become a dancer, let's do it. So that ability to see is in the father, and not only see, to bring it out of the child, to nurture that from the child. What mother nurtures is the whole child, that fathers cannot do. Just they don't have the ability, and the fathers have another sort of nurturing, which is this, which is the making an individual competitive
Sure.
enough for the world. That is not happening. That is why we have soft people, and those people are easy to control
Yeah.
by the corporations,
And the governments.
and that is why they don't want men.
Yeah.
They don't want men in families, and it's very tough to understand, man. It's very tough to understand, and that's why I'm saying I'm very lucky to have such great parents. I was brought up in a way where I wasn't shamed for anything. I had my own battles
That's
with
very
them.
good.
There was a very dark part between me and them as well, like we all have, right? But because I had this sense of individuality always, I never dissolved my individuality. My parents never told me that you have to dissolve your individuality so that you are accepted in the family. They never said me that. And because I had my own sense of individuality, I was able to see this also, that okay, there are some things which are not happening between me and my parents, and I need to work towards that.
And what about your friends?
So
You have such amazing views. So
I
do you have friends?
I have friends, but they are, like, I can count on one hand such friends. Yeah, and my friendship and me are very most friends I have are males only. I have, like, two female friends. One of them is my sister only. Uh, and one of them, I have two female friends. One of them is my sister, and one of them is a very good friend of mine. And I have male friends. I don't really have friends, and I don't really feel the need also that why do I not have 10, 15 friends in my life. Because I'm sure in myself. I know these are the relationships which I like fully cherish in my life, and these are the relationships where I don't have to play pretend. I don't have to, be somebody in front
Yeah.
of them. I can just be me, and they appreciate it.
Mhm.
Like if even if I don't agree with them on something and they don't agree with me on something, that doesn't mean that we are not going to have a coffee together. We are going to, so it took me a lot of time to find such people in my life, for sure. But I only found such people when I started to live life inside out, not
Yeah.
outside in. Otherwise, it's just play pretend, right? I'm going to attract somebody who's also play pretending. I'm also
All the best for that
playing and
relationship.
pretending. And then eventually, all the best, yeah. Let's see how
Yeah.
that goes. So and my whole work is just for people to become an individual. You have to absolutely forget about then getting a relationship, forget about getting a job, pursuing your career, talking to people, becoming an individual, knowing your spirituality, realizing your spiritual nature. Forget about all that if you don't just work on your
That's the
individuality.
base.
If you don't realize you are an individual,
Yeah.
you are free. Nobody
Yes.
is going to give you freedom, nobody is going to take freedom away from you. You are free.
So tell me something. Do you plan to train people or coach people? Do you have a platform or something?
Nothing. I have nothing. I just randomly I have podcasts with people, so I put clips from this outside. I talk to people. I talk to my audience also. Sometimes they're like, "Yo, I really need to talk to you. If you can make time, etc." And if I'm able to make time, I talk to them. I don't charge for it, but I don't give them advice or anything. I don't say anything to them. I just listen to them and just like speak to them, because they want to speak. I mean, if somebody wants to speak to me, why would I say no or
Hmm.
yes? But then I'm also a little smart in like who I'm supposed to speak to, who I'm not supposed to speak to, because if they have the independence to approach, then I have the independence to make my
Yeah,
own
sure.
decision also. So I do that, but there is no commercial aspect to it. I'm more like I will express what I have to express about what I know,
Hmm.
you know and to even to be able to say this in front of you today also, ki I know what I know. This also took me a lot of time, because I was like, do I really know what I know? Or am I just saying, because the sense of individuality is
Yeah.
sharpened to an extent where I'm able to, like, it's very quick with me. It's very quick with me to discern between, am I influenced or am I, this is
Yeah.
me, you know so ye bhi, it also refined over
Of
time.
course.
Sometimes when I was younger, in my younger days, I was like, no, 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 this is not me, this is, but I still acted from not being myself, but I was thinking that I'm this, and then I acted, and then it didn't give me happiness, it didn't give me satisfaction, it always led me to another trap. So that's how I recognized, okay, if something is not leading me into another trap and making me content and at peace and fulfilled, that is me doing something. And then आप फेमिलियर हो जाते हो ना उससे, आप इतना फेमिलियर हो जाते हो वो चीज़ से कि यू आर, there's no gap then. That is what they say, that you don't live in duality, then you live in
Yeah.
harmony, you bring things together, because, but you have to absolutely be at both the extremes to bring things together. So
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have had very
Yeah.
rough
Yeah.
patches in my life as well,
You have
very
to
horrible
see the
patches.
darkest places
I was
to know
My health
what
was
light would be.
crap, my relationships were crap. I almost thought that I am depressed, I should go to a doctor, etc. I was very close to taking pills. I was um, under the influence of not good people. I was, well, I had my own journey. And then like, you have to, मतलब वो मिट्टी में हाथ नहीं डालोगे तो फिर
That's the
कैसे पता चलेगा कि
famous
तुम मिट्टी में
hero's
हो.
journey,
You don't look at
which
it.
they talk about a lot. Yeah,
Hero's
yeah, yeah.
journey, yeah, 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 yeah. We teach that in the Freeman.
So I have, sort
Wow.
of been a part of hero's journey in 2020, but I know, it's a long journey, still going through
Yeah,
that. Very rewarding.
yeah. My lockdown experience was very different, man. My lockdown experience, man, I was supposed to go to US, and then I didn't. Thank God I didn't, because visas were not there. So I was supposed to pursue my higher education there. My degree in my degree is in BTech, and then I was supposed to go and do my this thing business analytics ka degree from Connecticut or NYU, wherever I chose to go. And then I didn't go because the visas were not there. So for 7 8 months we had to wait, and in that wait, my life just took a turn. I was like, why am I even going? The same question I asked. Why am I? So I this courage thing my father has instilled in me, that whatever you feel like right in any moment, do it regardless of the consequence. Like, you have to face the consequence. That's my responsibility. I have to face the consequence. I lost a couple of dollars that I and it's a lot of money I lost, which was there in the fee. It was only percentage was refundable,
Mhm.
etc. So that is my consequence. But I am happy. Like, I'm not like there, you know, just because I've paid certain fee and then I have to go there, etc. So I that is the thing, that you have to instill this in people technically. But if people don't have this in themselves, they can also build this in themselves, that you have to have the courage to live life. Unfortunately, you have to have courage, because we have built a world where you can be anything but yourself.
Yeah, it takes
If
courage,
you're
to be
yourself, then
yourself.
it's just not
And the
acceptable in
journey back to
society,
yourself is not an
you
easy
know.
one,
It is just not
but
acceptable.
it's very, very rewarding. Again, the hero's journey. You go through
It's
all the downturns and upturns. It's a call to adventure, and it's a
yeah.
recognition of your calling. And the only way, to reach the other side
Yeah,
is to go through it. It's tough, but it's very, very rewarding.
through it, yeah.
Uh, and I guess you have to go through it. Yeah.
you you are you're like, I am what I am, and there's no even the question of accepting also goes वहाँ से, because you can only accept something which you have not accepted yet. So वहाँ पे acceptance हो जाता है, सब everything dissolves. So there you're like, this is who I am, this is me, you know.
Yeah.
But what people say these days, that's why we're living in a world where it's just so much word vomit. We don't know what is love. We don't know what is trust. Nobody knows. There's just words flying around, and you just
Mm.
act on the basis of that love or that word. You just
Yeah.
act that I am in love. Do you know what it is?
Empty words.
Can you?
Mm.
So the same thing they throw around the word also, ki I am going to live life the way I want, and I am who I am.
Mm.
And that I am who I am some leads you to living an arrogant life, living a life of narcissism, living a life of not being mindful of other people around you. Sometimes you cause a lot of uncomfortable unnecessary uncomfortable things to people around you. So that is somebody who is acting again, you know. So they we all are actors, मतलब every
Yeah.
सब acting है.
Yeah.
तो acting जितना जल्दी छूट जाए उतना आप अच्छे से you can live life. Then you start living, otherwise you're dead. I was dead for a long time. मतलब I was dead. I can't say I was living. This is new. मतलब this is a new me. I should be renamed or something. I don't know.
It's like a rebirth.
Yeah, it has to be. What else will you say? Now I am
Mm.
like silent for days, not even needing to speak, and I'm fine with it. And I don't have to be fine with it. I'm just fine is. So that stage, when you are at that stage, and then you take life decisions, and then you move your life forward, it's so much less thinking and so much more doing, you
Yeah.
know.
And I think everybody goes through that, at some point in their life or the other. And I hope and I wish that people hold on to their patience and to their courage, and they don't give up, and they come out on the other side. Because whether you believe it or not, you have something special to offer to the world. And there are people who care for you, and you matter, right? So there's no point, in giving up. And yeah, kudos to you that you've gone through that, and now you are taking up the responsibility to share your experience and to
I
share
feel
that.
there's nothing else to do but to share. You know, when like there's a vessel and it's so full that it's overflowing, so it will flow and like fill other vessels, right? That's natural. So it's very natural to me. But also I don't do it
Yeah,
like compulsively that I have to, because then that also, because I'm so, this mind is so um, very delicate, very delicate. Mind is very delicate, and that I discovered this um, on a very bad. I was under the influence of some substances. Because it's the internet, I will not name it. And I realized, yeah, so I realized it there because
okay.
I had a very horrible, horrible experience. And that my mind was split into two. I was seeing things, it was horrible, you know. Um, and then I realized that I shouldn't play with the mind. It's very delicate.
Was it once, or did you try
It
it more than once?
No, only one time I had it, and then I was like, the mind is very extremely delicate, and you shouldn't play with
Yeah.
it. Because I am
Mm.
the kind of person who will not believe किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया मैंने मान लिया, I won't do that unless I have my own set
Yeah.
of experience. Only then I'll come to some conclusion or not, you know. Otherwise I'll not. I just काम में होता ही नहीं है मुझसे, कैसे मान लूँ मैं, like that. मेरे
Mm.
एक्सपीरियंस में नहीं जब तक, तो हाउ कैन आई एग्री और डिसएग्री, यू नो. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, आई कांट स्पीक ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ like, you know, what it is to be a mother, because I have not been a mother up until now, so
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the moment I realized the mind is very delicate. We say the heart is delicate,
Yeah.
you know. We say heart is delicate, the mind is strong. This is the opposite. The mind is so delicate. Yeah, so mind is your farmland, you know. Whatever you'll sow, you'll reap. That is the
Mm.
what is law of attraction, law of manifestation. Everything is this only, you know. You will manifest what you will sow in the garden of your mind, you know. So that is why whatever you'll consume, you'll become. So I realized that it is very delicate and I must not play with it. I must observe it. I must see its ways. I should know its ways. It's my mind. So one of its ways is to like trick you so nicely, matlab trick you so well that you won't even know that you are being tricked by it. I have to help people. This is my
Yeah.
purpose, etc. Then you become attached to that.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
if
and you don't know
something
whether that's coming from your purpose, or that's coming from your victimhood mentality, or from your need to be recognized and applauded. Um,
recognized, because what does the ego like? The ego likes to, this is what the ego likes the most. It likes to put the crown on himself and become the king, you know, applauded and appreciated and everything. That's what the politicians are doing. I mean, there's the same thing, you know. So matlab, I was very wary about this, that am I doing this because my ego likes it? So there was a lot back and forth catharsis, because I would have started speaking since 2 3 years back. I mean,
hmm.
that was the time I would have started to speak, but I didn't, because I was like,
Maybe,
I'd
you know,
rather
you are in
wait.
an internal dialogue
I'd
with
rather
yourself, right? That where it's coming from.
100
You have to.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. And then, you know, there's like this fear of like, I'm wasting days, I'm wasting days, I'm wasting days.
Hmm.
But I know that's only noise. There is just so
Yeah.
much noise. That's noise. What days am I wasting? You know?
Yeah. No, that's interesting, you know, having so much of discernment to filter out that where are your actions coming from, to see yourself from a distance, observe yourself.
You have
You have
to.
to.
And this way of this way of being will become all the more valuable in future.
Oh, definitely.
You will not believe, you know. I never say this because I know, लाइक दिमाग तो मुझ में भी है, मतलब मैं भी ये सोचती हूँ बोलने से पहले कि मतलब अगर मैं ये बोलूँगी तो पीपल विल थिंक दैट शी इज़ शोइंग ऑफ एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, यू नो. तो हम पहले ही सोच लेते हैं दिमाग में, राइट. बट बिकॉज वी आर टू आर हैविंग दिस कॉन्वर्जेशन एंड आई डोंट वॉन्ट टू पॉलिटिकली करेक्ट माई सेल्फ. सो अब ये भी करेक्शन ही हुआ इतना एक्सप्लेन करना भी. सो बट I can't help, because I'm speaking, like we're speaking to people, you know, who are listening to
Yeah, as
us
long
for
as
the
it is
first
coming
time or for the
from
second time.
a genuine
So
concern, you know,
we
from people, it's all good.
like I owe it to them to explain.
Sure.
So you know, this thing, what was I saying? See, I forgot what was I saying.
We're
ADHD.
talking about juicing up.
Yeah, so people come to me in real life. Somebody met me on the bus stand, somebody met me in a club, somebody met me in a cafe, on the road also, and in a shopping center. Like so many places, they meet me and they say, and even on the online, they say, "Thank you, I didn't take the because of you, I waited." And they were like, "Thank you." And they were
Hmm.
like, "I didn't understand at that time." And rightfully so. I mean, it was confusing times.
Yeah, you can't
But they were
blame
like, thank God I
people.
didn't. And thanks to you. And I feel
Hmm.
like, man, thanks to you that you didn't take. Like, don't thank me. You should thank yourself that you didn't take. So, and I don't say this online because I was like, whatever, because people do have, again, labeled me a lot of things, anti vaxxer, anti feminist, pick me, or whatever they call. I don't know what they
Pick
call all
me.
this. But I'm like, I have no time in life to engage in this. मतलब ये हो गया है मेरा ये सब
So what are you doing these
हो गया है
days? We spoke about your clothing brand. How's
हाँ. So
that
I'm
going?
working on my brand. I am working on that. I'm also taking my time with it. We had a mini launch in Bangalore Fashion Week in December where we
Okay.
showcased
Wow.
our, yeah, we did showcase, but then I was reworking on samples at that time. Still I was working on that. So
Mm-hmm.
वो हमने बीच में ही we launched it because my this the guy who works for me, he was like, we should do it, it's a good opportunity, etc. I was like, let's do
So
it.
this is a clothing
So
brand
they,
both for men and women?
no, this is an office wear brand for women,
Office wear
because
brand
in office wear
for women.
I saw there's a very big gap in market where there is no brand for office wear for women. I mean, yeah, there are brands doing office wear for women. There are brands like H&M, Zara, Marks and Spencer. If you go in high-end brands, Armani, Ralph Lauren, Tom Ford, but they just don't do office wear. They don't specialize in it, and there needs
Okay.
to be, because we have introduced women in workspace, but we have not. Where is the clothing for that? They have to
Hmm.
dress very masculine in corporate environments. If you see, you know, there is no feminine
So do you
elements. We
mean
don't
like
see
the
that.
blazers and all? Those formal?
Blazers and like all. I don't want to objectify the object, which is like the blazer and the pant. I'm saying well suited to female bodies. The blazers can be made well suited to female bodies,
Got it.
for their
Okay.
needs, for their comfort, so that
Okay.
they don't have to feel like a male to be able to herd in the corporate environment. I want them to be like a female.
There's a lot of thought process,
A lot, a lot.
behind it.
That's why it's taking time. That's why people are also
Good
asking
for
me when
you.
is it going to launch. They're also excited, but I want to give it time. I want to do it right.
And have you studied fashion or something, or is it just out of
I
your
so
hobby?
I have not studied fashion designing. I have not designed anything, but I've been a creative director. It's been very long. So
Yeah.
I direct it. Matlab, I design it, and then I have my team of designers, and they help me with the material and this and that. But the designs are mine. The thought process is mine. The heavy operations, everything I run behind the scenes. But yeah, I have designers who specialize in like designing, and they know the nitty gritty of things. So they are like,
That's great.
because I trust them to do
So, any plans to come up for men's clothing as
men's
well?
clothing. Let's see. Let's do this first properly. Let's. I don't know, man. I think males. Yeah, maybe in the future. Let's see. Abhi to I'm doing this
Okay.
only.
Okay.
Males.
So, say you had 1 minute or 2 minutes, and if the world had your attention right now, what would be your closing message?
The whole podcast was a message. If you
Yeah,
have
it
the
was, but summarize.
sense.
Yeah.
I would say अपना विवेक पहचानो, मतलब live life inside out, the same thing. Don't People will say what they want to say. Marketing campaigns will give the message what they want to give. Your family will say what they want to say. It
Hmm.
has been, it is not new. It
Yeah.
is part of human culture since human culture existed. You know, There are going to be opinions, there are going to be ifs and buts and this and that's and everything. This is a world of
Yeah,
cause and effect. So this is karma. Cause and effect is karma. So there is going to be consequence of every single action. Just make sure it is your action that you're taking. Just make sure it is you,
that's wonderful.
and not you under the influence of a marketing company, you under the influence of your parents, you under the influence of your own mind trying to trick you, your
Yeah,
ego trying to satisfy itself. Just make sure it's you, and then every action you take, it's like a blessing to the world. That is the contribution to the world.
yeah,
Rest all is
well
just
said.
drama.
Mm.
Legit drama, man. I've been on that side, I'm on this side. I know it's so tough.
Yeah.
It's it's but it's a hell of a journey, but it's the only journey worth making.
Oh, yes, yes. It's
It's
the
the
only
only
journey that
one journey.
matters. Yeah. I think we should definitely have more conversations over, such podcasts. There's so much to
For
unpack
sure.
and unravel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where can people
Yeah.
find you online?
They can find me on Instagram. That is where I am prominently. And
Hmm.
super soon, I'm coming on my website as well. That is also I'm working on. So that also they can navigate through Instagram itself. I have two accounts. One of them is now I've converted into the speaking account, and one is just for fashion.
All
So
right.
and I have a YouTube also, but it's not active. So if people want to go there and check out Ishi, that's the name.
And what would your website be all about?
I don't know. I'm still working. Still working. Still
Okay.
working on it.
Okay. I think it would be
It
about
would be
all your
what
ideas, whatever
all
we've covered,
flavors I have,
or maybe about
every
your
flavors I
grooming.
have, because a website is an
Yeah.
extension, digital extension of who you are.
Yeah.
So just everything that I have to offer, everything I am,
Hmm.
that would be there.
Fantastic. Let's call it a day. And
For sure.
it
It
was a
was long
great
and it was amazing.
conversation. Long. Yeah. Looking forward to hosting you again. And
100%. 100%.
all the best
Yeah.
for your life journey. Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much,
much.
Ajit.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.